Good day, everyone. I am Alyona Oasis, a BTVTED FSM student, and for today, I am going to present to you my final research paper entitled The Exploitation of Overseas Filipino Workers in Different Countries. So, I've chosen this topic because it is a part of globalization, and I do believe that it is a serious problem that OFWs are facing. So, exploitation is the act of selfishly taking advantage of someone or a group of people in order to profit from them or otherwise benefit oneself. OFW, that stands for Overseas Filipino Workers, has been a notable topic. So, in a nutshell, OFW is a person from Philippines who is living and working in another country, and it's been recorded by Philippines National Statistics about 2.3 million Filipinos are working abroad. Overseas Filipino workers or OFWs have been hailed by the Philippine government as new heroes. So having big houses, farms, cars, jewelry, and other signs of richness are common to many overseas Filipino workers or OFW who are employed. Wealth in the Philippines also does not have equal distribution, and it is nearly impossible for those in lower classes to become financially stable. So this leaves them desperate for any opportunity to pull themselves out of poverty. And because of this bleak economic situation at home, millions of workers in the Philippines seek jobs elsewhere, then send the money they make to their impoverished loved ones at home. Globalization has created a new reality for OFWs. So there has been a feminization of Philippine migration, and OFWs have based their identity on what they can do for their family. So OFWs know who they are and do not care how others perceive them. So because of the importance the OFWs place on the welfare and well-being of their families, labels are of little significance to them. So there are two kinds of overseas Filipino workers: those who leave the country for temporary or contractual work, and those who settle permanently in the country of destination. OFWs endure problems regarding money, marital conflict, parenting concerns, abuse, and other problems regarding employment. So by determination, because it helps us to move on in life, but it also no wonder some of them give up and go home. So it can be tough, but the determination to provide for their families serve as their motivation. Workers or OFWs who are reeling from personal difficulties, harassment, and violence are finding it difficult to attain relief or justice because of widening gaps in the processing and handling of their cases by competent authorities. More overseas Filipino workers who are reeling from personal difficulties, harassment, and violence are finding it difficult to attain relief or justice because of widening gaps in the processing and handling of their cases by competent authorities. OFWs are already vulnerable to risk and predation even before they leave the Philippines. So, among the pre-employment or pre-deployment struggles that OFWs go through, according to a survey conducted as part of the study, are high cost of recruitment, illegal recruitment, which can be caused by unlicensed agencies or prohibited practices by licensed agencies. Also, the contract and visa deception, which is often linked with lack of information and contract terms and conditions and misuse of visa provisions. OFWs experience rude treatment from government representatives or embassy officials, exploitation of any sort by an employer or a recruiter, unfair charging of unnecessary fees, illegal and untimely termination of work contract, human trafficking, including various forms of harassment. Particularly, reports regarding OFWs that have been sexually assaulted or physically attacked can be a cause of grave concern for the overseas employees and their families. Unfortunately, most OFWs face many barriers in pursuing their cases and complaints, more so in attaining justice. OFWs often find it untenable to seek justice under the destination's countries' hardly understood institutions and fragmented laws and policies, especially when confronted with unfriendly immigration and work permit processes. One of the main reasons OFWs refused to seek help were threat, fear, and shame. Others said they do not have enough financial support to file a case. However, other OFWs who suffered contract violations and involuntary work arrangements said that they simply resigned or accepted what happened. And some of them said that they thought no one would listen or believe in their grievances. Meanwhile, some also said that the issue was not a big deal to them, so they did not bother to seek help. At least some OFW as well no longer had contact with their employer. Sometimes we think having an overseas Filipino worker solves all the problems in the family. But the fact is that our OFW families are also experiencing difficulties that are unique to them. If not addressed immediately, these problems may have serious consequences. Hundreds of OFW families have been torn apart because of OFW problems that were not attended to promptly. OFWs who experience abuse or notice any signs that may lead to it should report it to the authorities. Government officials encourage OFWs to immediately get in touch with the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA, to the DFA or Department of Foreign Affairs, and DOLE or the Department of Labor and Employment should they desire to file formal complaints. Likewise, the Office of the Vice President or OVP assures that they will extend any assistance needed with each case reported to them. Abused OFWs who chose to return to the Philippines can also contact the National Reintegration Center for OFWs or NCRO, where they can learn about livelihood programs offered by the government. Additionally, the center offers counseling services, medical care, job referral, and temporary shelter for distressed OFWs. These agencies promised that they will work closely on each complaint, whether the abused OFW has been directly hired, agency hired, or even if they are undocumented or what we call as illegal OFW. According to the author's research, the following few solutions could be also a help to address problems among OFWs. First is a unified information program. Second, better data reporting. Third, investment in staff training and digital infrastructure. And lastly is to cultivate private sector partnerships at the national and international levels. Effective partnerships are a critical aspect to ensuring that a human rights-based approach to labor migration becomes a reality, said Christine Daddy, the Chief of Mission of IOM. The Outer or Aligning Lenses Towards Ethical Recruitment project, which was launched in September 2020, aims to sustainably reduce the prevalence of trafficking among OFWs by empowering the Philippine government and civil society to develop ethical recruitment standards and practices. The program also seeks to provide safer employment for Filipinos abroad, especially in the hospitality and domestic work sectors. Former Labor Undersecretary to take legal action can result to further trouble. As a matter of fact, failure to report maltreatment can even prove lethal in some instances. The safety and welfare of individuals should always be the biggest priority. Protecting them from abusive employers is a must. Legal rights of these overseas workers should be upheld even when they are outside the country. And that would be all. Thank you for listening and God bless.